Your input is invalid. You entered 9468. Please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. Thank you. You are the only participant in the conference. The recording has started. Please note that your storage is almost full. Please log in and delete recordings or purchase more storage from your account.
Make it quick.
Make it quick. Oh, Brad Will's done.
Good thing YouTube has unlimited storage.
Megan Morris.
Hi, Megan.
Okay,
1 minute.
really,
Bar time.
I guess.
Mitzi, are you here for a particular item?
No, just a citizens forum.
Okay. And I don't know your name, I'm sorry.
My name is Renee Archer.
Okay, are you here for a particular item?
Yes, I am.
And which,
I am just here to ask the question of city council.
oh, but it's nothing on the agenda.
No, not that I know of.
Okay, because if there's public here, we tend to move that item close to the top so they don't have to stay for 2 hours.
I
That was just
appreciate it.
citizens forum, yeah, then you're good.
I got citizens forum and agenda, so
Okay,
nomination.
okay.
All right, I got 6:30. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call. Steve,
Yes,
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yep.
Item number 3, approval of agenda. In front of you, do you have the agenda as presented? Are there any additions, subtractions, corrections that need to be made?
I'd like to move item 9D, approval of alcohol permit for Market in the Park to out of the consent agenda so it can be discussed.
Okay.
So after 7L, I suppose.
Can we move, 5A up? So we can, if the sheriff has to go, he can
Agree
go
with that.
before citizens forum.
Move the amendment.
Motion made by Steve to move item 5A under item 3 and move 7D under item, 9D under 7L. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ken, discussion. Hearing none, Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Ken? Yep. So, moving on to item 5A, sheriff report.
I don't have anything super notable. I did extra patrols. I know we've had several other extra patrols done in the park over the last month. Doesn't sound like anything else has come up from the shelter, the bathrooms, anything like that. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary when I did them on overnights. Did you guys get any other reports or concerns about the park?
We did get the report. We do have an individual that, for whatever reason, seems to be mowing our disc golf course once a day.
Once a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you guys just want to keep an eye out on that, I know he's been approached several times. And seemed to stop for a little bit and then started back up. Knock on wood, we haven't seen that happen again, but on our
Okay.
side, it's kind of a liability, so.
Okay. All right. I kind of wonder, where is that at specifically?
Specifically where it's happening at is on the north side of the city park.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that parking area,
Yeah.
before you get to the bridge.
Okay. All right.
Anything else for the sheriff's office? Hearing none?
And then, you guys will have new people in July, our township, or our town day it is, after this month, so I don't know who that'll be, but you'll have 2 new people come July, so,
Okay,
Good.
all right.
all right.
Thank you for your time. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Safe.
You bet.
Have a
Take
wonderful
care.
night.
You too.
All right. Item 4, citizens forum. At this time, we'll take any citizen input for anything other than that is currently still on the agenda. We just ask that you state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mitzi DeGroat, and I'm at 1400 Rock Creek Drive. I'm the Old Settlers Board Secretary. And I just have a few concerns. I didn't know if everyone got this I know you got this letter, but I don't know if you shared it with everyone. I thought maybe you could read it.
Is that one from the lawyer?
Yeah.
Yes, it is in everybody's packet under the city clerk. And it reads as follows. It says, "Greetings, I represent the Old Settlers. Their representative leased the city park in April, and subsequent to the council changed the lease to reduce the space available to them. The council does not have the power to change a contract already in place. For that reason, I have advised my client that the original agreement remains in effect. There is no intent on the part of my client to have any disagreements with the city. I believe the city should show the same respect to my client. Old Settlers has been a Maxwell fixture for many years, and it needs to stay that way. I believe most of Maxwell feels the same way. The coming of the market should not change anything. Both organizations should be able to coexist and be treated the same way without favoritism. Rental of the park, because it is a public space, should be available at the same terms and same price for all citizens and organizations. Otherwise, it is not legal to discriminate or show favoritism. Old Settlers has been a contributor to the city park and is a nonprofit organization. It is hard to justify discriminating against them in favor for a for-profit organization that does not contribute to the park. It is not beneficial to the city to have division over what seems to be insignificant reasons. I would ask that you treat both organizations the same way without favoritism, and the city will be the beneficiary. Signed, Cahill Law Offices, Thomas J. Cahill.
And I know I do have this agreement here. It was rented on April 4th, and we were told that no one else had rented the park then.
Okay.
And then I guess I just don't understand why you guys then decided to divide it all up and take away the cement part off of the stage area. I mean, that's just making it impossible to paint the stage, do different things that we wanted to do down there during that time.
For sure. I did have a conversation with a lawyer after I received this letter.
I know I talked to him today.
We have not, what you guys rented is still rentable. I also talked to Becky Pointer as well. The bandstand will not be used that day. So if you guys want to paint it, that's fine.
I just think it would just, I mean, how can we paint that and then there's gonna be a party right there next to it? It's just gonna be ruined. I mean, that's just a given with all the problems that have been down there anyways. So, and what is gonna be their party? What kind of party is it?
You'd have to ask the market.
It's a farmer's market during the day from 3 to 5:30. There's going to be
On Saturday?
Yep, 3 to 5:30 on July 30th. The Living History Farms is coming in to do a old fashioned retail tournament. There's going to be a car show going on pending any planning. Horseshoe tournament, and there's a concert at 7 o'clock that night.
When did this all get arranged then? After we had already rented it?
No, planning's been going on since January. Robert Deitch is the
I know
band.
him. I got an email from him. He thought I was you. And on April 11th is when he said he would do it.
He agreed to July 30th. That's just because the only day that he could. Big
Right.
bands like that are kind of hard to.
Exactly. I know. I've been
To get a
trying
hold
to. But I have this thing here where he thought I was you. And so on April 11th, he said that he would do it that day.
On April 11th here in town.
Mm-hmm.
On April 11th, he responded
To
on
her.
an email
Yes.
to you.
To a text message to Lauren. He thought I was her for some reason. He got us mixed up.
So he
Because I had asked
he
him
confirmed
to do the
his.
week after that, and he confirmed hers with me. But I guess I just don't understand. You have all summer long. Why just the week before Old Settlers? We don't have hardly any time to get ready.
Again, July 30th was chose because of the band. Those bands are hard to get a hold of and schedule. That's when a lot of it worked for my vendors as well. Again, we started planning this January 30th. I rented the park on April 6th, I believe.
Yeah, we did it on the 4th. And then the
Didn't you
city
just rent the
changed.
bandstand?
Yeah, but we talked to Deb. Supposedly it was talked to Deb, and we could do lights. We have to do work on tables, just stuff that is normally done during that time.
Is there anything I can help with?
Well, I don't know. I think we're just gonna, I'm not sure. It looks like to me that you're trying to ruin Old Settlers for us.
I would never
is the
want
way
that
it
to
really
happen.
looks like.
I would never want that to happen.
So are you gonna not be in the park on Sunday then? Is it you're just having
Right, we won't be in the park for 31st,
well, then maybe we can do it on that Sunday then
of course.
instead.
And I'll be back down there too to help pick up any trash or pick up after the concert. So I'm happy to help.
But it just seems like you've been trying to ruin it for us. I mean,
That's not accurate, Mitzi.
well, I heard that you called the truck pull and wanted the truck pull to move to that one. You called the rodeo and wanted them to move.
I think
to it.
everyone's perception is different on what is trying to be coordinated. And if you perceive that that's what's happening, it's inaccurate. And I'm just only trying to build off of other events that could happen in town. That's all.
It just looks funny and it just doesn't look right. And
I
then another
apologize.
question I have then is for the mayor over fencing. Now all of a sudden someone's being sent to the sheriff's being sent about a fencing. What's all that about?
That's not me. I just know that the city was presented with receipts of the
From
fencing,
Randy Pritchard.
and that we were told that was their property. And we know that fencing's not there anymore. And so it was up to him on how he wanted to take
Well, I'll let you know, we have checks, a check that for the same thing from Old Settlers
Okay.
for fixing fence. So
And
I guess if someone wants to you know, come and see it, you can come to my house. I have a copy of it.
And that's fine as well. I did have a
Steve
conversation.
should know, shouldn't you, Steve? Is
I
it
have no idea what you're talking about.
old fence, I thought you said it was Old Settler fencing that was out by
What did Randy claim?
that it was his.
No,
It's been used for 13 years,
Yeah.
you know, or more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's claiming it's his. He's,
but then
a
he should take
deputy
he should
came to
take
town
the-
to, you know, that wanted to arrest Becky for that.
Well, he has no claim on it, in my opinion, and if it needs to be settled in court, it needs to be settled in court.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we have a copy of a check, so if someone needs, and that, I think that receipt was 2011, and this is for 2012, so, for fencing.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know. We were just presented that. Because it was on city property, I did contact Becky and said if she did have that receipt, that we'd like to see it at City Hall. And that's.
I'm just saying, all these things just add up, and it just looks, it's just looking funny to people, you know?
And if you look at it even more, the city is not a part of that. Those are separate entities that aren't a part of the city.
Lauren, the comment about the rodeo being asked to move to your event versus Old Settlers, that came directly from somebody who was asked about it. It wasn't a perceived thing.
I think I was working with Shannon Robertson. I was trying to set up something with a gal out of Colo to set up Mutton Busted. And that's what I was working on for July 30th. But come to find out, Mutton Bustin' is kind of expensive. And the insurance to have that kind of event is expensive as well. So this year, maybe not. Maybe someday in the future, but it was Mutton Bustin'. It wasn't rodeo.
Well, we'll just, instead, I guess we'll just move to Sunday then, if that's okay, if we can have Sunday then.
Yeah.
Instead.
Absolutely.
That's all I have.
So this answers some of the questions that I had on the letter from the Cahill law offices. I don't remember the council ever leasing the city park in April, but it sounds like what you're talking about is the $10 reservation in which the city guarantees that a piece is reserved for a use. And
Right.
so somebody who comes in, they
So if you
they
rent the
want a
band shell,
shelter.
then you don't get the
They want
place for them in
if they
front?
want a shelter, then, anybody can use anything down in the park for free. What we charge the $10 for is a reservation. So if somebody comes in ahead of time and they say they want to have an anniversary party in the big bin down there, they want to reserve it, then for $10, we will post it as being reserved and we will enforce it as being reserved. And that's what the $10 pays for, the reservation. And I can see where that could be considered to be a lease. I had never thought of it like that before.
I think instead of leasing, an agreement.
Yeah.
I was just there talking.
A reservation.
Yeah, I talked to her today.
What we did after that date is we realized that there are if we say somebody can lease something or rent something down in the park or reserve something, then what are they reserving? And that's why we came up with the map that showed
After we had
all the
rented
different.
that, though.
Huh?
After after we had rented that.
Well, yeah,
And then you divided who wants a band shell without the place that you have in front of it? I mean, seriously,
well, that's a good
if you were
question.
gonna rent a
been
band
for
shell, you're gonna
years.
need some space in the front.
Yeah, my recollection was that the original map had the band shell and the uh, uh,
Basketball court.
basketball court as one area.
Then you divided it at the May 5th meeting.
That was a
It looks
council,
convenient for
that was a
market.
council decision.
Yep, and it looks very convenient for the market, that's what I'm saying.
Precedent is that it was included with the band shell. It had always been that way until the decision was made to designate certain areas of the park, which you guys then changed the rules mid-game, is the way I understand it. But the precedent was that if you had the band shell, you also had the area in front of the band shell. And that had been that way for how many years? So that was the precedent, and then changing it when someone already had rented that area is what the law office was referring to, that it should not have been changed for that particular rental. Does that make
Well,
sense?
It helps explain what
Mhm.
the letter is. I was just going to refer the letter to the city attorney. And maybe we don't need to do that anymore.
No, we'll just move that day. We'll just move to the
Okay.
Sunday, but it still looks very distasteful to have one the week
I
before
apologize
Old
for that.
Settlers. That's
Um,
fine.
I would not have, I would never want Old
That's
Settlers. Plus, I am
Okay.
offering my help on Sunday, the 31st, Mitzi.
And I offered Mitzi's help to you way back when, and you said, no, you didn't want to work with Mitzi.
Can we move on to the next item since Mitzi's left?
Yeah, is there any other citizens forum?
Yes, I want to know why no one can rent the park on Sunday. Reserve the park on Sunday.
There has been, because it has been rented already from,
For the entire summer?
there's an agreement in place, yes, there has been an agreement that was presented to the city council, and that was approved by the city.
Well,
council.
maybe you should post that everywhere.
It's posted on our live stream, also in meeting minutes.
Because I have tried to rent it for a family reunion. I have a friend that tried to rent it for her historical society to support your museum. I have supported your museum for 20 years out of town. I've recommended people come here. They are trying to get a picnic in your park on a Sunday because it's kind of convenient for people who are not working to come, have a picnic, and go to your museum, which I have been running and raving how fantastic it is for years. I have supported it. I've had people come. I've encouraged tours to come, and they get blocked with this. What is your reply, ma'am?
I have a.
What are you doing to support the museum? What are you doing? Answer my question.
Direct all
support the
questions
museum?
to the mayor, please.
What is this council doing to support the museum?
I think I know the market has been trying to reach out to them to get them open on Sundays, so they're open at the same time the market is, because we do get quite a few people here. We want as many people to go through those museums as possible, because those are fantastic museums. We used to have people from Des Moines schools used to take them through there. Yeah.
And how is that?
Do you have a specific event that you've been stopped from having?
I have been promoting this for years.
Do you have a
No,
specific?
I told him to go someplace else.
Can we get your name and address, please?
No, I'm not going to give that.
I don't have a farmer's market on the 4th of July weekend. And if there's a time that if we can work with you and work around a time frame that you're interested in on a Sunday, I'm happy to work with you.
They've already rescheduled it to someplace else. Because I did not find this town very welcoming. And I was thoroughly embarrassed to even have recommended it. This museum that you have is awesome.
Absolutely.
People have spent years making this the museum it is. They have spent their time, their volunteered hours, whatever, and I have recommended it since I worked in this town. And when I suggested this, I was thoroughly embarrassed that they said, there is no way. We were told it is not available for 3 years. So they're passing the word to the other historical societies not to bother.
And exactly what kind of an event was this?
This was a picnic that the different small town museums that are, I promoted that Maxwell has a lot of extra antiques and things that are doubled, that they may be able to exchange with other museums. And the lady that has started this is also a historical society in a small town trying to advance. And that's the reply she got. She said, well, we'll start with a picnic. I'll invite other members and their families. I think you've done an awesome job of the military rock. It's awesome. I support it. My husband supports it. His Legion supports it. So thank you for your time.
Ma'am, could you would they like to have a picnic on a Sunday? Is that what I'm a little confused because I could work with anyone and we're out of the park by between
the way they
2:45
were
and
treated
3.
when they called over here, they're not coming back.
Do you know who talked to them? I am willing to reach out and work around the farmer's market schedule to make this picnic happen.
Ma'am, do you know how embarrassing it is? After I promoted this, I'm supposed to be talking to you. You know how embarrassing that was? I've been working with these people for years to try to get them over here.
This is the first time I'm hearing of that, and I apologize. I know we do have other areas in Maxwell that are available for rent, one of those being the Scout Park, which has a shelter and is a wide open space as well.
You know, I never thought a small town park would be so exclusive.
I don't think it is exclusive. I think we
just work around your time. And they tried. Can I come in May? Can they come in May? Could they come in June? Could they come in? No, nothing until November. Am I right?
September.
Yeah, September.
Well, by that time it was too late. Whatever they wanted, they didn't have. So I just said, find someplace else. You know, I'm sorry. This museum is great. Huh?
A Saturday couldn't work?
No, because some of these people work on Saturdays.
Okay.
There are other.
No, there's other parks that were available.
No, lovely places in Maxwell. I mean, we could.
We have 4 or 5 different parks.
We have Scout Park. We could do Trotter Boulevard. The shelter will be by the Freedom Rock.
Some of those places, they didn't want to spend that kind of money. All they wanted to do was reserve the park.
And by spending that much money,
they tried. This was the first year I could convince them to come here because they've been going to other towns, meeting with them. And they always start out with just touring the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've supported this museum for 20 years.
And
we all do.
The museum board is aware of this and they've been working with you on this?
No, I have not contacted anybody until these people came to see the museum. It was just getting them here.
But the museum board also works with the small museums in the area.
And I do realize that.
Okay.
I do realize that. But these people don't want to contact anybody until they see. Sometimes they walk in and the small museum is nothing but a one-room schoolhouse with a few antiques in front.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not worth contacting them.
They can come to the museum any day of the week just by calling one of the numbers on the door.
I get that. I do understand that. I've been to the museum. I brought people here.
Okay?
But this was a picnic they wanted to have and have their families. I mean, this was not per se business. This was a bunch of people that are in the same interest, doing the same thing, wanting to see if this
Sure.
was worth their time.
Sure. How big of an event did you think this would be?
Pardon?
How big of an event were you planning?
I think there's about 20 people and their families.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not talking 100 people here. But like I said, they're interested in the military, so some of it was going to be veterans that were coming to look at the rock. I mean, there was various interest in here.
Needs four or five picnic tables worth of people is what you were looking for.
Right, but they wanted to reserve a shelter, and they were told no.
Do you
So-
think you could reach out and reconvince, and maybe we could get?
I
a
don't
different-
know. Like I said,
Would
I'm
you
thoroughly
try?
disgusted.
Would you try?
I will try.
Can I give you my name and phone number and I'll help you?
No. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna,
Anything else under item 4, citizens forum?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Wasn't Saturday the day the sirens would be tested, and they were not because I was out in my yard. Is there a reason they were not tested to
They are
make sure they're
tested
working?
the 3rd Saturday of each month.
The 3rd?
Yep.
When did that change from the 1st Saturday?
I'm not 100% sure because they went off.
They did. I messaged you
Yeah.
the day that they went off, and I was like, that's great. It went
3rd
off.
Saturday.
That was the 3rd Saturday, so we're coming up on another one.
2 more
This
weeks.
week's
2 more
next.
weeks.
Yep.
Is
We
that
don't
manual?
control the testing date. That's done at
The county level.
Ames or Nevada.
Well, I was told from up there that it was the 1st and the 3rd. So you're just doing it on the 3rd? And is it manual or is it electronic?
They have it going off electronically now. We work with the county board of supervisors, emergency management, to get that fixed.
Hallelujah. I can quit bitching about that. And then on Sunday, I was out in my yard and the music from Market in the Park was so loud. And I'm 5-6 blocks away. It was so loud, I couldn't talk to my neighbor. The volume needs to be down so it's for the people at Market in the Park, not the whole town.
Anything else?
That's it. The rest is on the agenda.
We'll move on to item 5B, the fire report. We had 5 calls with 24 people, no injuries or accidents, no maintenance, no special events, no future plans. City does need to vote on a member, Luke Ness,
Move approval of Luke Ness.
moved by Steve,
Second.
second by Lauren. Discussion. Hearing none. Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Ken?
yeah,
EMS report.
well, his date
Don't
of birth
have
is
one?
wrong. He's older than
A couple
1
months.
month old. So I don't know what year he was born, but
We'll make a note of that, get that fixed. EMS report, we don't have one. Library report, we do not have one. Public Works. Don't think we have one of those unless I missed
I got
it.
one
Yeah,
there.
we do.
Do we? There it is.
Go for it.
Streets should be seal coating those now. Parks, the new elm tree planted across from the, there was a new elm tree planted across from the church stand in memory of Brad Plunkett. New park from the playground tube is here. We pumped about 1.5 million gallons, sold about 1.3 million gallons. Excuse me. Flush hydrants and head system survey done, no leaks found. Sewer pumped about 4 million gallons, need to set up a date for open house. Does anybody have any ideas on when they would like to have one? Probably on a Saturday. I think really in order to get the word out, you're looking at the 25th.
He wants to do it in June?
Or the 9th of July. Or the 16th. Or we can wait till August as well. Thoughts?
Does he want to do in June? July 9th? Sounds like there's plenty of time to at least get some advertising out.
Give us a month that way.
That works for everyone?
Mhm.
Okay. We will set open house for July 9th. Anything for Tony under the public works side? Hearing none, we will move on to city clerk. Looks
What
like.
is the shelter under Public Works?
Oh, yes. I forgot to talk about that. So the engineers came and looked at the shelter. Were you part of
Talking
that?
about the food stand, or the church stand shelter?
No, the one that needs to be rebuilt.
One over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
The playground shelter.
Playground shelter.
there is a less expensive part, way to fix that, and that is to rebuild it as it was. However, they would want us to sign off on a liability waiver because it is not up to code anymore. What they will need to do is pour footings for that and set the shelter on footings over top of the concrete slab. And that's going to be pretty significant cost. So she wanted to put that on there to let us know and to start discussing about what we wanted to do for that. In my mind, it's a no-brainer. We don't want the liability for that. Thoughts, Wes?
Not a lot. I'm not a structural expert, so I would defer to who you brought in. I mean, that's,
And I think it had to do with the water table down there and erosion and things like that. That if you put it up where it was at before, if a wind caught it during a real rainy storm, that it could just fall over again.
You're better off with footing.
So if anybody wants to entertain, redoing that, I guess taking bids would be the thing to do.
So
And
What would
plan of-
we-
Plan of attack.
right now there's a concrete pad there.
Correct.
Right.
And so we would be putting footings outside the concrete pad.
From my understanding, that's what was said.
So we'd be doing like we did at the Freedom Rock.
Yep.
Where we'd put concrete cylinders
Pylons almost.
and then bolt a new framework to it, and it would be over top of the existing pad that we have.
Yep.
Or we just put picnic tables on the pad and
Correct.
not have it in a shelter.
Was it rented at all? Was it a popular shelter, or was it just kind of there for the picnic,
I
for
think
the
it was
kids to
kinda
eat
there for
lunch?
the, yeah.
It was used a lot. I don't think it was ever rented,
Okay.
but used a lot by
Shelter for
people, parents going down.
Parents watching the kids.
Birthday parties
Grandparents
and-
going down and sitting in the shade while the kids play out in the playground.
And having lunch with the grandkids at the picnic tables under the shelter.
So keep that in mind as we move forward. I think we should probably have more in-depth conversation when Deb comes back, because she's got all the information tied to that.
I know the shelter at the Freedom Rock, which hopefully will get built before Old Settlers. was about $23,000. And then another $3,000 for the footings would be, if it's something similar to that, that's $25,000 to $30,000.
And I think we can talk about this more when we move on to city clerk, when we start talking about FEMA, because obviously that was one of the reasons that went down is because of the duration. And so, anything else on that? Okay. City clerk report. Included a few items of note. An email from Pat Sheehan stating that he is trying to, for an Iowa grant that would finish paving of the bike trail to Collins, including a path along Army Post Road. There is a complaint in here from City Janes. The letter from Caw Hill Law Offices representing Old Settlers, we did go over that. A petition from the city clerk of district court on a pending lawsuit of a motor vehicle accident as well. And I did talk to Deb about this, and everything has been sent off to our attorney. And so far we haven't heard anything back from the state. Budget amendment was turned in. They're still working on the FEMA wind disaster. Board of Adjustments meeting was on May 17th, and there was a Parks and Open Spaces meeting on May 23rd. Discussion on any items under city clerk.
In the Heart of Iowa Trail, the copy in the packet is an email, copy of an email dated May 11th, saying that he would like a letter of support first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Did we do that?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We did.
Yeah, the
I figured
council
since
had
it-
already indicated support of that, so.
And I figured that if we were looking at free money, that we shouldn't turn it down.
Don't turn that down.
Nope.
And I commend Pat for taking
Yeah.
that on.
That's big. Anything else for city clerk?
Are we going to take these two complaints by Cindy and discuss those
Oh.
later in the
do
meeting
that
when
now.
we get down to nuisance property?
Is there a nuisance property option?
Fitting.
Yes. Let's move those down to 7L.
And I had not heard about the accident between Paul Ness and Alexandra Stromley. Did I miss a council meeting or something?
I don't remember because that was what, a year ago, I believe.
January 15th, 2021.
January a year ago.
Yeah.
So a year
So a year
ago
ago.
in January.
Yep.
Didn't hear about it either.
So
There were no citations sent, and we just got this notice after our last city council meeting.
I also noticed that it is dated April 14th. And so it was turned over immediately to the city attorney.
Correct.
So that any responses are being made in a timely manner.
I should preface the fact that we haven't received a response back from the Iowa District Court after we got our.
But as long as we got it to the attorney, then it's the attorney's responsibility to make sure that he's filing the appropriate responses within the appropriate time.
Yep.
So, great.
Anything else for city clerk? Hearing none. Wes, you're up.
All right. I think, I didn't realize Deb was gone today, so I don't know, did this get in everybody's packet? Maybe not.
The one page
My memo, yeah.
about getting a grant.
Well, that, and I had a memo
Manager.
sent, but I can get that copied to everybody. I'll just go through the high points here.
Okay.
Baldwin Street, we're still looking at 2023 construction. Advise me if we want to go otherwise. The wrinkle in that, or not wrinkle, it's a good wrinkle now, is we were successful in getting the SDBG grant through the NPO for Story County. So that's $240,000 to put towards that project. That was the full amount that we could get.
And that covers the whole cost, right, Wes?
Yeah. I wish.
One block.
It does have some, there'll be some requirements come along with that, because, I mean, there's no such thing as free money, there's always strings attached, but the strings should be much less than what we're, $240,000. So it will be a big chunk to go towards the project as a whole. So we have not got the formal notice, we just got the email saying, yes, they had awarded it to us, or had voted to award it to us. So we should be getting some follow-up on that, and then figure out what requirements they're going to have to get that money here soon. So that's good news. And related to that, we expect, judging by we had another project in our office that had got that award previously, the requirements, assuming they go the same, are very similar to the CDBG requirements. So if we're going to do the requirements for the SDBG, and we want to, so that helps offset some of the stuff, offset, I guess, but we're already doing it for the SDBG, it goes towards the CDBG. So if we want to do the water main replacement at the same time, it helps share those strings. So on tonight's agenda, and we can talk about it later, we did have an action to start the procurement process for the grant administrator for the CDBG. I don't know if the SDBG will also require a grant administrator. It may not. It's a little bit different program, even though they sound similar. But if it does, we can procure for both. I got a question into the guy that did the last one to confirm with him. Just didn't get a response yet. So I guess short story, the CDBG looks like if we wanted to do water main replacement, there's some advantages to sharing some of the upfront work, but we need to procure the grant administrator for that. The next submittal date for CDBG is July, which would be probably too quick to get the LMI and all that stuff done. The next one after that would be the October, which would have everything in place for a March bid letting, March of 2023, which still works with our 2023 date. It's still within that window that we still get pretty decent bids on projects.
Have we committed to 2023 for sure?
Well, that's where we were shooting for. We don't have anything.
Like it's a done deal, and I'm not sure.
It only because there's a lot of steps to get there, and I just want to make sure that we don't get there and go, oh, we want to build this tomorrow, and we can't because there's a lot of hoops we didn't jump through. So that's the only reason I'm pushing on the 2023 is because I want to make sure that if you guys are still looking at that, then we've gone through all the hoops we need to go through. That being said, prior to that, I guess for you guys is looking at the funding and the budget and the commitment to that, right? So the SDBG should help with that. The CDBG would basically pay for itself for the water main work. By our rough calculations, that should be a pretty easy wash. That maybe, well, I guess no, it's like 100,000 premium to get like $600,000 worth of work paid for. So, or $300,000 worth of work paid for. So we are not committed to anything at this point. To maybe get to the crux of the question, right? So we're not committed to anything financially or legally, but this next process, the procurement of the grant administrator, would be a contract agreement with them. Well, the procurement process doesn't tie you anything, but when you sign the grant administrator, then you're tied to them. At least for the procurement process, it's the requirement of CDBG. We can go through that without any strings. So that's why I've got that on for the authorization today. And then once we find out what those requirements are, we'll get you guys a supplemental scope for us to assist with whatever you want us to do to help walk you through those requirements, the clearances. It'll be like environmental clearances. and some permits, things like that. But once we know that, hopefully by next meeting, the SDBG guys have been kind of slow to get back to us on things. So hopefully this will pick up now that they've made their decision. So that's where we're at on the Baldwin Street. Any questions on the Baldwin Street project?
Yes. What action do you need from us tonight?
Authorization to start the procurement process for the CDBG grant administrator.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of words in there. So with CDBG, they require you to go through a special process to hire the grant administrator. And the grant administrator will do they'll do the application, they'll help you with the LMI survey, they'll help you with the paperwork on the back end during construction. It's similar.
And it's the same LMI survey that would qualify for a CDBG.
Anything.
Right.
Yep.
And good for 2 years or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And so there's companies out there that do this. Simmering Quarry is one we worked in the past. We would probably include them on the request list for a proposal. We request a proposal from them to give us their price and their services. There's others out there. We want to go to try to find others. We can. We don't have to. We can just go to the one, or we can try to get several different ones. Simmering Quarry is the main one that I've worked with. They do a lot of these. They've done a good job on the wastewater treatment plant, I think. So they've kept us out of trouble anyway. So met all the requirements. So that's who we would go to, at least one of them. If you want us to look at others, we can. I think fees for that one were like $20,000. I don't know what this one would be. That's a little bit bigger project. So we have to see what the proposal is. But yes.
You can take that out of my mayor paycheck
Sure. With an IOU.
for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
Thanks for serving.
Anything else on Baldwin?
No, I move that the engineer be authorized to start the grant administrator procurement for the project. Whether we go ahead with the project or not, I believe we are, but whether we do or don't, having the LMI survey in place will benefit the city.
There's a motion made by Steve. Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Second by Ken. Discussion. Hearing none. Lauren.
Yes.
Megan.
Yes.
Doug.
Yeah.
Ken.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes. I'd also direct Wes to start working with Tiana concerning, as our financial advisor concerning this project, because we're going to, if we get the grant funds and our own local funds, and we need to borrow some money or do a geo bond, we need to start looking seriously at the financing. I think we have cost estimates for the project that are fairly stable at this point.
We hope. I don't know that I'd say any pricing is stable at this point. It's pretty volatile out there in general.
But we've identified all the pieces.
Yeah, we've got all the pieces, whether that's a $10 part or a $20 part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at least it's reflective of the price that we had anticipated for the time it's put together. We'll have to deal with any volatilities that come up as they come up, because we just don't know. And it's really hard to tell right now, because right now we're in the late season. So the prices we're seeing right now on bids, we're getting high prices anyway, which we normally would because contractors are busy, right? So pricing is always a funny game, but yeah, we've got current pricing that we could provide some or apply some contingencies to that'll give us in the ballpark till we know for sure. Yep.
I don't believe that takes a motion. It's just,
yeah,
we have a financial advisor that is on retainer, and
Let's use her.
she should be involved in these things.
Yep. I agree, especially as we get to getting serious now about funding this one. So, couple couple other things on the memo. It's some no updates on stuff. Wastewater treatment plant improvements. We're just wrapping up paperwork for you guys on that one. The Woodlawn stormwater study, I was thinking we were going to have a hearing tonight on that one. I don't know. I don't think I missed it.
No, we didn't. And one of the reasons we didn't do that was because since Deb wasn't here.
That's
so
kind of what I figured when I got here. So
we can always do a special meeting too. That's not
let me know on that because we're waiting for that to make a
It'd
decision.
probably
how to go
work
forward.
better as a special meeting and do it down at the Legion Hall,
Okay.
which they don't charge the city for public events like that.
Just let me know on that one. And we'll be here for that. The trail bridge erosion repair, we're in the process of getting those requests for quotes from contractors. There's no big hurry on that one right now, in my opinion, because like I said, contractors are really busy right now. It's a small project. Fall's a better time anyway, because the seeding that goes along with it, we're outside of the spring seeding period anyway. So, but we'll have something in place with a contractor before kind of we bump up against that fall seeding period. And then,
Wes, we're going to take a time out.
Yep.
While we figure these phones out. I think a lot of people can't.
the beeping, is that why they're calling at us?
Yeah, because this phone is tied to our conference phone.
Ah,
I think it's going over the line and they can hear it if they're calling in. Do you have a phone?
Yeah.
The beep beep?
I gotta click this. I lose caps, and then I put them in my pocket, and they go.
Yeah.
You just unplugged it.
You killed it.
Okay.
So hopefully the messages are still saved. All right.
And then please go back to Deb and leave your message again.
Back to one item that I didn't actually have in the memo, but your discussion of the email from Pat Sheehan reminded me of it. I got a question from our trails people in our other building on the status of the Army Post vacation. I don't know. I think I sent an email on that, but I don't remember if it ever went out or not. Because we were talking at one time about vacating that right away and committing it just to trail. But I don't remember where we ended that. I think it kind of,
I think it dove off when we found out.
there's a lot of ramifications of that.
Yeah, because there's property owners on both sides. And so I don't know how we go about that. I don't think the a vacation of that roadway is the solution. I think we just have to figure out a different solution, whether it is you keep that open and then you have a trail just running on the side of it, or how we do that.
Okay.
Make it one lane traffic.
Or can you use a roadway for a trail? I don't know.
We have Army Post Road, I believe, exists as a road easement.
Yes, that's, I think, remember, because it's not really a vacation of the property, it's a vacation of an easement, which
Right,
limits what you can put back on it.
right.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
So, running the trail down beside the road, would still be acceptable as a road easement.
Mhm.
So maybe what we should be looking at is hauling in, some base and seal coating the rest of it, just like the other streets
Yeah.
over
Okay.
time, instead of vacating it.
Okay. Good. That I think that jogged my memory. I got it written down here, so I'll pass that back on. I know that was part of there's a question with the Story County's project that they were trying to do, how that all plays in. So I will pass that on.
And I did have several people come and ask if there was a way to get because I don't know who owns that. Is that Story County that owns part of that land that's right by the bridge? Had several people ask if we could possibly use some grant funds or something to put a, I don't want to call it a boat ramp, just an area that you can put your,
River or creek access
Yeah.
or stream access.
Yeah. So that's something I've been
But
trying to.
it might be easier and less expensive to do it on the north side of Second Street.
Yeah, that's where they're going right now, but I hear there's a big like trash problem over there. Which they've also said, I think if we got a trash can over there, which I think we have plenty, we can stick one down there and people can put their trash in there as well, so.
Okay. The last one, the high school construction observation. I know Doug, you've been kind of point on this. So we put together our memo on our observations. There was quite a few issues. I haven't been up to do any kind of follow-up, but we certainly can. I haven't heard anything from the school. You forwarded it on to the school, right?
Yep, and
Okay.
the superintendent said that he reached out to all the subcontractors with that, and they said that they were going to fix those problems immediately. Doug is finding out that they haven't done that, so if you want to do a
Okay.
follow-up to see if there's anything else, we can.
Yeah, we
figure
can.
that out.
We can. I think sounds like the big one. I think I saw the email from you, Doug, was the storage area that's growing.
Yeah.
On the soccer park.
We
So-
okayed that.
Okay.
However, since it is growing now, we need to put that in a safer place.
Yeah.
And we talked at our last meeting, the possibility of putting it down by the flagpole in the Legion baseball field. There's some area there,
Okay.
and there's pylons around there, so nobody can like drive in there as well.
So yeah, that will take coordination with the contractor and.
Yeah. And I did let them know that
Okay.
too, so I don't,
So you've talked to him on that, and
yeah, the school, I haven't talked to the contractor, because I don't have their information, but.
yeah, because if nothing else, some kind of security fencing to.
We're also in the middle of a superintendent retiring and a new one taking over, so that may be another time to resend more information.
And thank you, because the Larsons were very impressed that you took time to stop and talk to them.
Nice to talk to them. They were fun to talk to. So.
They're one of the concerned people right on the east side of
Yeah, I remember the videos that we got from them. So yeah,
So they are very appreciative.
yeah. Well, and they weren't wrong. I mean, there's a lot of erosion control issues.
Yes.
With the site and the housekeeping of the site. So it's
I
good.
can't remember, did part of that include moving the fence so it's not right on the edge of the road all the way around the football
Yes.
field?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the standpoint from my letter, my memo was recommendation based, because I don't have any authority over them, obviously, but it's recommendation based to you on the city for enforcement. So
Okay.
the fencing does cause some site restrictions, some proximity hazards to the roadway. So yeah, we recommended it would be,
Hopefully, we're about done with that project.
well.
It's moving faster than school.
Yeah,
Well, good, because it looked like I had a long way to go when I was out there, but
they got black dirt on it at least.
well, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Did it all wash away last night?
It didn't look like it.
They had a trailer sitting down about the 50-yard line, know that they pulled up through, and oh man, did they cut ruts
Oh.
today.
So now they're gonna have
And
to
nice soft black dirt.
Yeah.
pack down everything.
Okay. So that's everything I had on my main list. That I have, unless there's anything else you guys have for me.
I don't think so. I think I told you the buyers of Rock Creek backed out.
They did, okay.
However, now the owner of the property has a developer that he's interested in. We can discuss that more under my information later in the meeting.
And the other thing that you had asked me about that I recalled here that I did not get on my list here was there's a question last month about illicit sewer connections. And so I've been doing some researching into that. There's a lot of communities that have addressed that already. From what I can find, there is no state code. The first question was, is it legal or illegal to connect your sump pump, your footing drains to the sewer? I cannot find a state code. Nobody that I've talked to can find a state code. Could be wrong because it's a big book. But it looks like most of the example communities that we've looked at all reference a city ordinance. So most of them, it's illegal by city ordinance. I don't know whether that's in our city ordinances or not. Be something to check into. One engineer commented, yeah, a lot of cities have it, they don't realize it. So it's possible we have it already. The funding and mechanism to do any kind of project, several communities have done funding projects, but I've not been able to find good information on how they did it. A lot of them were, what do they call it? Big carrot, little carrot stick. If you disconnect by this time, we'll give you this much money towards it. If by this time, this much, and after that, we'll fine you. Obviously, that's got to all be ordinance driven. But where those reimbursements come from, I have not been able to figure out yet with those communities. But there have been programs out there that communities have done to disconnect.
Years ago, you and I and I got called down to the carpet in DNR.
Yep.
Down in the basement.
Yep.
And
And they
one of
jumped
the
on us.
very first thing they asked us was, have we eliminated the sump pumps into the storm sewer, into the sanitary sewer?
Mhm.
And so DNR doesn't have a requirement.
Not that I can find. Now they have some guidelines for new construction, but not any state code that says that it's illegal to connect to a sewer. I could be wrong. I've just not been able to find it.
I think
but-
it would be great just to ask them directly. Is
Okay.
there a requirement?
Yeah.
Because you and I are both called on the carpet about it.
Yeah, we were down there for something else,
Yeah.
and they brought this up on the side. So
Sandbagged
Yep.
us on that.
Yep.
Because if it's not a state law and it's just recommended, then that'd be great to know. We
Mhm.
may want to do something in city ordinances. But it was certainly my impression that we had to do it. We had to do it by a certain time. We had to have a program in place.
yeah, and I don't know whether that was a requirement or sometimes the DNR has policies that aren't necessarily state code. That if you're doing this, and that's kind of what happened. We were in there for something else, and they said, "Well, have you done this?" You know, it's might be their policy, but it's not necessarily state code required, because they didn't pursue it any further at that time. And I think part of the issue was the file for the city was on the desk of someone who had retired, so the guy that took it over and met with us hadn't seen anything. Anyway,
Yep.
Long-term history, but
They're pretty good about doing that. That's why we
Yeah.
have spent $4 million on a sewer project.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I will call the field office and see if that'd be a good way to verify. If there's a state code, they would know about it. We'll follow up on that way of it, but
Thank you.
and then I'll keep trying to see what other feedback I can get on programs that other communities have used to address.
Okay. Anything else, Wes?
Not for me, unless there's any questions.
Anything
your
for
end?
us? Nope. Hearing none, we'll move on
All right.
to 5H Parks and Open Spaces Board. Doesn't look like we have one of those unless I missed that one as well. Anything for Parks and Open Spaces?
Megan, you can chime in, otherwise I can add a couple things. Okay. Thanks to a generous donation by Mr. Jans and Mrs. Jans, we will have spotlights. They are here and ready to be installed by the south trees, the entrance. They will be installed with help of the city electrician. Hopefully debut July 4th. So those are here and ready to go and super excited. It's already been mentioned that the playground tube is here, ready to be installed when Tony gets back. And there's discussion action on Gaga Ball Pit, so we'll wait for that item later.
Perfect. Anything else? Hearing none, I will take a motion to open public hearing 6A, first reading of an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Maxwell, Iowa pertaining to waste storage containers and waste collection service.
So moved.
Moved by Ken, second by Steve. Discussion? Hearing none. Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah,
Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Public hearing is now open for the first reading of an ordinance amending the code and ordinances of the city of Maxwell, Iowa pertaining to waste storage containers and waste collection service.
Is this published for approval in one reading
I
as we requested?
believe so. Can you double check that quick?
Take off second and third down at the bottom.
See here. Be try. What date would that have gone in? 26th?
Maybe we just approve the first reading and hold another reading next month. Might be the easiest thing at this point, since Deb's not here to answer it.
Either way, the public hearing is now open. Are there any public input?
Is this in regard to just the hours before and after and the new rate? Or is there more to it than that?
The rate is not part of this. It is how long it can be out on the curb before and after. And it does not restrict the rolling carts to just residential. We've been allowing churches to get the rolling carts and picking them up, but the ordinance did not reflect that we could do that. So we made that correction to reflect the situation out there.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Steve, according to the minutes of May 2nd, discussion and action, ordinance change, waste storage containers. This is a change so that the garbage containers can be set out 24 hours before and after pickup rather than 12 hours. Miller moved to hold a public hearing on this ordinance for the published for a single read. Cass second. 5 days.
Yeah,
So
my recollection was that it was to be done as a single reading. However, the actual language in the publication has to reflect that. And if it didn't reflect it, then we can't do it. So
Yeah, I say we just do the first reading and then we'll come back next month.
Can we do contingent? Waive the second and third if it was published?
correctly. I don't think anybody would sue us if we did that.
I'll make that motion.
We
gotta close the hearing. I'll close the hearing.
Any other public input for item 6A? I need a motion to close the public hearing, 6A.
Yes, I'll move it.
Motion made by Doug, second.
Second.
Second by Lauren. Discussions? Hearing none. Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Ken?
yeah,
Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
At this time, I'll take a motion to approve the first reading of public hearing 6A, first reading of ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Maxwell, Iowa pertaining to waste storage containers and waste collection services, and waiving the second and third pending on the legal notice posted.
So moved. Very good.
Second.
Moved by Steve, second by Doug. Discussion? Hearing none. Doug?
Yes.
Ken?
yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Item 7A, discussion and action on GIS service for water and sewer. At this time, got to remember my Robert's rules. I'll take a motion before we discuss the GIS service. Motion.
I move approval of the Silver Smith contract.
Moved approval by Steve,
Second.
second by Lauren. Discussion.
Is this the contract that the mayor is recommending?
It's a lot of money, first of all. Second, I was, Matt Corey reached out to me via email. I haven't had time to have a discussion with him yet, but he said he'd be willing to show us the counties. And he said that it does a lot of the same stuff and comes in at cheaper cost. So my recommendation would be to view what the county has to offer, see if it's something that we are interested in. If butts up against all this. But I would love to take your guys' input as well on that.
I agree, it's a lot of money, and I don't know the benefit beyond what we're currently getting or is available elsewhere.
For sure. Feel free to chime in.
Okay. First off, April 24th, I sent an email out.
Mhm.
Did you get the new contract?
I believe is that the one that's in here? Do you know the total price on that one?
I've got it with me.
See a date on this one.
I think it is, because if you look under tablet on this side, you can see that it was changed. Am I looking at the right one?
Oh, all right, something's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, it was changed to 3,100.
So your total is
Yep.
5,700.
That's the same thing I got.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep.
I do got it. Thank you.
Jameson,
So,
Matt Corey is a very knowledgeable individual on anything to do with water.
Yep.
So,
so my recommendation is would be to vote this down. And then, we can come back at our next meeting and have further discussion on what we want to do. Hopefully we have it narrowed down, because it looks like it'll be, if, the county's equipment comes back at a low price and it does the same thing, we'll be looking at 2 contracts instead of the 3 with, what was it, Sam? Is that who else we looked at? Because Sam was over his price as well.
Right.
So that's my recommendation. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I
Do
think
you have
I'd
any
be-
questions for us?
One other thing, I don't know if it was done at the time, but this last month, you received the DNR letter about lead and copper services.
I've not seen that one yet.
Okay. It's out there now.
Okay.
One of the things that we added and there's 2 things you can do with this. One is if you don't have your curb stops already marked, what you're seeing here is we've taken a lead inspection and attached it to the county parcel. So now you have the address to your services. Okay. This was built in Michigan, so it's very detailed as far as the worksheet goes. Go ahead and take it.
Thank you.
And you will see that they're all done in drop downs, and they can go line item by line item. To do it. Now, I know I've talked to a couple of my clients, and this is pretty much what they're after. Now, it's adjustable and editable, where we can change that to the specifics of what the DNR is going to ask for in October of 2024.
You said 2024?
October 2024.
Kind of heavy.
So, anybody have any questions on that part of it?
I don't. You guys?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think if we do revisit, any information regarding this, I think I'll shoot a text message to Tony. I'd really like him to be here to, give his input on
Yeah.
how this might work for, benefit him, obviously.
What I will do too is I will set Matt up with Tony.
Yeah.
So he can do some hands-on with it as well.
What did you say, Matt's name was?
Matt Corey.
Matt Corey.
And what, thank you. What is it that you said the county says that they can do?
It's something similar to this that lets you mark out all your pipes, how big they are. I'm not sure about the lead and copper. I'll have to check in on that.
Does it also have the management part of it as far as the assets go?
Let me look that up quick.
And this would be on, available on the Beacon system?
That's what I was just gonna ask, if it was correlated with Beacon. I would assume it would be. It would have,
Well,
you would assume that it has to be.
It's called the R2. They have it at work. The new one is much smaller. He says he's going to bring it home and he can show how it works. There's a lot of pre-built databases for mapping for water and sewer through ESRI, and that are free with ARCGIS online if that is purchased as well. So
your recommendation is to not approve and table until we have more information from a third source.
yes.
I'll make that motion.
Well, no, we just need to vote on the previous motion.
Okay,
You
vote
just
on
say
this
no.
one.
So let's start with Doug.
No.
Ken?
No.
Steve?
No,
Lauren?
No.
Megan?
No.
Perfect. Okay. I will reach out to him and we'll get that scheduled and then we will go from there.
and do a item by item comparison between the Silversmith and the county.
Mhm.
Sorry,
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name was Kevin?
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin.
Perfect. All right, moving on, item 7B, discussion action on resolution 2022-11, a resolution approving the participation of planning and economic development programs of the Mid-Iowa Planning Alliance for Community Development. I will take a motion to approve that at this time.
so moved.
Moved by Steve, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Lauren, discussion. Any discussion? Oops. Hearing none, we will move to a roll call. Ken?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes,
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Resolution 2022-11 has been adopted. Moving on to item 7C, discussion and action on Baldwin Street Reconstruction Water Main CDBG Grant Administrator.
This is kind of what we did already.
We've acted on this.
Perfect.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you're good on this one.
Move that out. 7D, discussion action to authorize mayor to sign animal rescue service contract. I'll take a motion to approve that, please.
move approval of the animal control contract and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract after checking on the third page or second page before item number 3 that we prefer to be notified prior to the animal control officer responding in non-emergency situation, and that the Tony's cell number be filled in as the contact.
Any other discussion on that?
Second.
Roll call, Steve,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes,
Ken.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I think we missed something.
we didn't have a second there, did we?
I did.
We
We got it.
we
Okay.
did with
I
the
did
discussion, right?
Okay.
I did
Okay.
second it, he
Yeah.
just didn't
All right.
recognize
Okay.
me.
Yep,
And
sorry.
Jan, second.
All right. Hang in there, Deb.
Sorry, Deb.
Trying to be more formal with Robert's rules. so
That's fine.
I
No,
apologize.
you're doing-
It's all right.
you're doing
It's working.
Great.
You're doing
Can't wait
great,
to vote
Jason.
for you.
I'm not giving up.
7E, discussion and action on voting member and alternate to Story County 911 Service Board. I will take a motion to approve voting a member.
Have you been attending the meetings on behalf of the city as the member? Or is this something that can, before we can approve this, we need to fill in names?
Yes.
I thought we did
And
that
I know-
last time. That
I know in the
I got
past-
railroaded into this.
Yeah.
I know in the past that sometimes the mayor attended the E911 as the appointed member. Other times it's been council people who are on the emergency committee.
We railroaded Ken on this one. Ken and who
That'd be
else?
Ken and me.
Yeah.
So name of the appointed member would be Ken Jan,
Steve Cass.
and the alternate would be Steve
Ken
Gass. With the appropriate emails to be filled in before it is sent. So I move approval
First
of
one.
for the city of Maxwell, and Ken Jans as the appointed member on the 911 Service Board, Steve Gast, alternate member.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Lauren.
If you
Discussion.
don't second it, you'll be alternate member.
Hearing no discussion, Steve,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yeah.
Discussion, item 7F, discussion and action on Gaga Pit in City Park. I'll take an approval
This lady.
to add
Yes.
Gaga Pit in the city park.
Where's-
Is there a motion?
How much?
So make a motion
Yeah.
to open this for the Gaga Pit.
Okay, motion by Ken,
I will second.
second by Doug. Discussion.
How much?
On the Gaga Pit.
Megan, are you okay with me chiming in?
Yeah.
The boys, Austin, help me with names if you can, Megan.
Austin Maddox.
Austin Maddox and Austin and Maddox.
It was Austin Bosey and Maddox, I can't remember his last name.
Pross, Gwen's son, raised the funds to do this and presented it to Parks and Open Spaces a few months back. They finally raised the funds. I believe that was with a chili cook-off last winter. Raised the funds and brought it to recommendation of Parks and Open Spaces Board last meeting. And it was sent to recommendation on to council that meeting. I did print something off, Megan, just for them to be able to look at. It's just an example of a Gaga ball pit. I think the boys want to build it 15 by 15 in diameter. And I believe, Megan, this is the only thing that I questioned myself on was the location.
Was north of the playground.
North of the playground.
So between the playground and the path that heads into the park,
Yes.
south of the ball diamond? Okay, the, what is, has anybody looked into, whether or not this is going to, create, any additional liability, on the city, park insurance?
My understanding is, and this doesn't stem from this conversation, but I was talking to our insurance agent, because Nevada put in an ice skating rink. And she said it doesn't add any more liability to yours. It's already covered underneath of that, as long as it is put in correctly. So
Will there be supervision while kids are playing
No,
I wouldn't
it?
believe so.
No?
It's gonna be just like the,
Basketball
disc
hoops.
no.
and the basketball.
Right.
What is the maintenance that is required? Does it have to get like sand added to it periodically? Or?
I don't think so. I think they wanted just a dirt floor. They wanted to remove the grass just like this, to be able to play it efficiently in the way you're supposed to. I guess the idea is to have a dirt floor. So
Roundup.
What?
Roundup.
If it's popular, it'll turn to dirt already anyway.
Yeah.
correct. Otherwise, I know where a chunk of that grass could go on the market path for spot number 13. That's a good hope.
And so this has gone to Parks and Open Space, and it is the recommendation of Park and Open Space to the council to proceed with approval of the placement.
Yes.
Any more discussion?
My
It is treated
grandson-
lumber.
My grandson did one, it's been 5 or 6 years ago, with his scout project up at the Nevada Middle School. The kids just loved it and really used the heck out of it.
I believe the balls were going to be located at Logsdon's Grocery, and you have to go to Logsdon's to check them out. So that was helpful on where the equipment would be. And then the other thing to note is that it is treated lumber. So as far as maintenance of the wood, I don't think there's much.
The occasional replacement is the
Sure.
first one.
Sure.
Jay was okay with that?
I believe so, yes.
Move approval as discussed.
Just need to do roll call, right? I forget where I left off.
I guess we already have a motion.
Mhm.
And
So,
so
I
now
see
we're
I'm
ready.
screwing everybody up today.
No, you're good.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes,
Ken,
Yeah,
Steve.
Yes.
Perfect. 7G, discussion and action on new flag placement for cemetery. I'll take approval of that before we get to,
so moved.
is there a second?
so yeah.
Moved by Doug, second by Ken, discussion.
Has this also been to Parks and Open Space with a recommendation from to council to proceed?
Yes.
Any other discussion?
The Legion and the VFW right now store the flags, get them out, put them up. And everything with a little magenta circle is where the big magenta circles is where the flags are today when they're put up. And the circle is that big because the flag is 8 feet long. And so this is a 16-foot diameter circle. They take that much space depending on which way the wind's blowing. The issue that we have had is trees getting planted within 15 feet of the ground receiver, because if that happens, then the flag can't be put in the ground receiver because it gets tangled up in the tree. So this plan, if approved by the council, should come along with the general understanding by Parks and Open Space and the council itself that we're not going to plant trees within 15 foot of the center of those circles, because when you put the ground receiver in, you need the space for the flag to fly, and that tree branches lower than 13 foot from the ground need to be trimmed if it's within 10 feet of the receiver. And so this is not a maintenance-free proposal, and it has a couple stages. The bluish circles would be the ones that we would put in next over the next few years, and the small reddish circles would be ones that would eventually go in when roads are put in.
Did I miss the discussion? Are those going to be the same size as the ones in magenta as well?
Yeah.
And they're just different colors because it's different faces?
Different colors and different sizes,
Okay.
Because I wanted to make sure it was visible
Okay.
and easily read as to when we put a receiver in the ground, then there will be a big magenta circle in that location. So if the council is in agreement with the tree planting, then
Ready for roll
I
call?
would certainly recommend that we proceed to a positive vote.
Any other discussion?
No.
Hearing none. Lauren,
Beautiful addition, yes.
Megan, Doug,
Yes.
Ken,
Yeah,
Steve.
Yes,
Number 7H, discussion action on IT in box. I'll take a motion to approve that so we can have discussion.
motion approved.
Motion by Ken,
Second.
second by Doug. So we have received this several times from the Iowa League of Cities. It's IT in a box. What it essentially is a IT service. And I think we should probably take a good hard look at this because right now we don't have any IT service. So they were talking about backup servers, maintenance things.
Cybersecurity, computer.
Yeah. And cybersecurity right now is a huge, huge, huge thing, not only in business field, but also in,
They're just hitting everybody.
yeah, yep.
They don't care.
And so you can see that there are certain services and fees. And what they are recommending for someone our size is a monthly service fee of $400.95. Even if we don't go with this, I think we should still really look into finding somebody to have some IT services here.
on page 4,
Yes.
there is a chart with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. And the header is illegible.
Chocolate.
What,
So that is, let me read it here. The 1, 2, 3,
First
4.
one is
The
units.
fifth is the one-time fee, so there's no one-time fees. Unit price is number 2. And then number 3 is monthly price. And so that's where they get the $4.95. They have us with 5 PCs, which would be those 2 PCs plus the 3 that we received from the grant that we got. So the Surface laptop as well as the 2 Microsoft Surfaces.
And that's the next column for the 5 PCs.
Yep. That's where they come up with the five
Five
numbers,
PCs times 2320,
is 160.
$116.
And the next column with all
Is,
zeros.
that is the one-time fee,
Well, there's 2 columns
Like you
with
said last one.
and
zeros.
then it's annual fee.
Oh. One time and annual.
Yep. So,
So for the 5 PCs, it'd be $400.95. Under the third row where data backup offsite storage, it says this selected device must have an associated server or PC backup SKU. Do we have PC data backup SKUs already, or will this be an additional one-time cost?
I'll have to look into that. I want to say we do have, Gee's computer does that, but I'm not 100% sure. So I will double check on this one.
And that, the backup for our financial system is already taken care of and would not be interrupted or duplicated. I presume it would just be everything else.
Yep.
On the system. I also noticed in here that they were very clear that they are providing Microsoft Office 365 for the desktop with IT in a box gold coverage. Is this gold coverage?
That is what.
Silver coverage? Bronze?
This is bronze.
This is bronze.
So
So it will
that
not include Microsoft Office 365, which is good because we already have it and we pay for it.
Yep.
And this would then duplicate because you can't get out of your agreements
Correct.
with Microsoft.
Correct. Or it's very hard to do so.
So the policy compliance would not apply because we're bronze. Website would not apply. Oh, it would apply, included with, oh, nope, that's gold coverage, so that doesn't apply.
The one thing we will want to look at is, and I haven't gone line by line on this. I've been looking it over for the past week. And my question still stands on our website. We have access to go to GovPay in order to pay our water bills. I want to make sure that that is secure as possible because I don't want a data breach on people's debit cards. So I want to see if they can cover that as well. Or maybe GovPay has their own. We don't have to worry about that. So
for $400 some odd, what we get
A month.
is a month,
Yeah.
yes,
is the number one,
Yeah.
cybersecurity.
Yep.
We don't get the help desk.
Nope.
We don't get the data backup and disaster recovery. We don't get records, document management, and email. We don't get video archiving. We don't get policy compliance. We don't get website. We don't get vendor management and procurement. So we just get the one item. Is that mine?
that's correct. So cybersecurity and computer maintenance.
For $400.95 a month.
And that's why I said if we don't, no hard feelings if we don't use these guys, but I think we should. It's something that we should check into.
So under our insurance policy. Does it have anything in there for cybersecurity, or this is a regular insurance policy?
We do have a cybersecurity portion. I think we are only insured to $1 million. I was going to go $2 million last year, but it put us over our budget. Thing you got to think about with cybersecurity and how much cybersecurity insurance you want to put on is going to be dependent on ransomware and how much they hold you hostage. I know, for instance, Johnston had this happen 5 or 10 years ago, where they had ransomware get into their systems, and they held everything hostage and requested like $3.5 million in order to do that. So that's when kind of your cybersecurity insurance takes into place, so you can get all that information back. So I really wanted to start this conversation, see where it went, and then we can go from there and build our own. And maybe the gold coverage isn't too much more expensive than $400, but this was very basic from Iowa League cities for IT in a box.
Have you ever, as council or city as a whole, looked into, say, networks or access downtown Des Moines? I'm sure you have, but it's probably a little bit more on the expensive side.
I think Access is who we go through for our copier.
Sure. I wonder if you couldn't just
Do they have?
build a quote off of
cybersecurity
that.
in
They
it?
do have
Yeah, okay.
cybersecurity. We go through networks at work, and I'm going to assume that Access probably has the same kind of deal, but that's another quote we could get.
Yep, I'm all for getting more quotes. Like I said, this was just the beginning of talking about it.
Very important to have. And
Yeah.
important.
I mean, to go from bronze to gold might be like
$100.
$50.
Yeah.
Or $100 more. And instead of just having one thing, we would have access to lots of things.
The help desk would be
Yeah,
nice.
Deb to have the 24/7 help desk
Yes.
would be awesome.
Huge. I think that's why she was pushing it.
Yeah, probably.
Well, but it looks like in order to do that, you would have to get at least silver coverage, because
Mhm.
remote support's included with IT in a box silver coverage.
Yep.
For 24/7 help desk.
Yep.
And quite frankly, if we had 8x7 help desk, that'd be infinitely better than what we have.
Yeah.
Yes,
1x7.
1x7.
Yeah.
Something.
So if you want, vote it down and we can come back with another game plan. Any more discussion?
Since it involves a contract, which would have to be signed, even if it was to be approved tonight, I would still vote no until the master service agreement is reviewed by the attorney.
Perfect.
I would not enter into any contract without attorney review.
For sure.
So I would encourage the council at this time to vote no until we have more information.
Perfect. I don't know where I left off. I think it was Megan.
No.
Doug? No. Ken?
No.
Steve?
No.
Lauren?
No.
We want to jump back up to GIS services for water.
Sorry, I was 20 minutes behind on
No, you're good.
I decided to make tacos.
You're good. You're good.
I just came in to answer any questions you guys had. I figured this would be quicker than email back and forth. And like I said, I did a little bit of a demo for Tony and Chris when they were flushing hydrants.
Okay, perfect.
Just with the experience I had working for the city and knowing what the cost of that unit is, I hate to see you guys spend that money on something with very little use. It's not like you're adding 20 houses a month and going out and GPS and curb stops,
For sure.
because once you have the data in, you don't even really need the unit, except for those few times that you're gonna add it in. The unit we have is, the receiver itself is like $350 right around there. And then you can use any Android, or iOS device. We use one of my old phones. Yep. And then, we have Esri, which is the ArcGIS online. And we, as the county, we put out a lot of parcel information and stuff that would be accessible to you guys too. So you can incorporate that into maps, parcels, all that stuff. Like I said, once, you can take some of the information that you have and everything that's already there, put that into a map. What's missing, Tony, you can go out and grab it a day. And that unit is subscription based. So you can have it, you can do subscriptions by the month, 3 months, whatever, or you can do like 10-hour blocks, which it's better just cost wise. If you're going to do it, you might as well just get the month, not 10 hours. Because it's the minute you turn that unit on, it's just counting. So like I told Chris and Tony, you could go 2 months without a subscription, then pay for a month, go out, make a note of the new curb stops that you find, that you locate, when you go out to do water shutoffs or whatever, mark it, make a mental note of where it is, that when you have that subscription active, go out there, GPS it. They have different tiers, and right off the top of my head, I don't have any of that info in front of me, but like we have the 1 foot accuracy, which for septic, that's good enough. That's, you state your foot here, you're going to hit wherever you're going for. I think that's just under $100 a month. So, you can have that for 3 months out of the year. Spend $300, you spent $350 on the unit. You can use any phone or whatever. And then once you have that location, Tony and Chris can use their phones, pull up that map, and their phones usually between 9 to 16 feet is what you get average. And that's going to get you within an area of a curb stop or valve that's covered up in seal coat. That's going to get you in an area close enough that you don't even need that receiver active at that time. So,
And it's saving quite a bit.
Yeah. And once you have the map set up, and like I said, Esri has quite a few templates that I threw one together at home the other night before I took it out to show Tony and Chris. It's all, you fill in the blanks of what you want. You could add more to it. You could add more layers to it.
So you could add what he was talking about in 2024.
Yep.
Lead and copper
Yep.
piping.
Yep. You could add that as this separate layer. You could have all the information you want. You could make your own drop downs with, you could have it like solder copper, compression copper, lead. You could have that, those drop downs, whatever you want to add. And there's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but once you know what you're doing, but once you have the map set up, you don't even need to touch the design of the map again.
Okay.
There is, I don't know what the cost is for Esri, but they kind of go by population size on your pricing. So I know 20 years ago when I worked for the city, I think it's about that long ago. Makes me feel old.
I wasn't going to say that.
You are old.
Yeah. When I was trying to get out of my daughter's car the other day, I was feeling really old, when it sits down here. When I'm used to the truck that sits up here. Yeah. They had given us, it wasn't a free trial, but it was free for quite a while ago. That was 20-some years ago.
Let me understand how this alternate proposal would work. If Tony was going out and getting a valve location on a main. Because as you well know, we don't even know where all those are. And he would rent the device, go out.
No, you would basically, you would have the device, you would buy the device, it's like
device.
$350 for the
Okay, so
receiver.
we would own it.
Yeah.
But we would turn it on and do like a 10-hour rental or whatever.
Well, you could do, that's through Silers who we bought it through. It's a Trimble unit. So the subscription is through Trimble, but Siler is a local reseller, kind of like those Silver, whatever.
Silversmith.
You know, they're a reseller of Trimble, and they're selling also their mapping products for what was it, $5,000 or whatever that was.
To get the 1 foot accuracy, somebody would have to pay a subscription rate.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and like you could go monthly on
Okay.
that.
So
like $100. I think it's like
Tony goes out.
Mhm.
He's paid for the 1 foot accuracy. He sets it on top of the shut off, gets a good coordinate,
Mhm.
and that coordinate is fed into.
that the ArcGIS online. You would have your map on that. So you could make that map public, you could make it private, you can make it to an organization where only you guys are members and Tony and Chris. I mean, you could set different levels of
Okay.
privileges for
So
this.
we would have our own online map, and it now has 1 point in it.
Mhm.
What about all the property lines and
That
everything else?
you can get that as a REST service for free from the county. We feed that out to different organizations. We feed it out to ourselves. We feed it out to
Okay, so we could link
Yep.
to all that information.
Yep, you can link to like the DNR's flood mapping services. You can
The aerial
anything that you want to
photos,
lay on top of
anything you see on Beacon.
it. Yep, basically anything you see on Beacon can be
Okay,
put on.
but
there
it's
too.
still our map overlay
Yeah.
with the other stuff
Yeah.
overlaying on top of the other
Yeah.
stuff.
You can just consume as much data as you want. You could, DNR layers. You could do DNR's one-stop shop that list out all the spill sites, list out all the MPDS permit sites. Like your outfall for the sewer. There is just an absolute ton of data out there that you could get for
And it
free.
would be using the online Esri mapping
Yep.
Tool.
Yep.
If we wanted, we had talked about getting cemetery plots.
Mhm.
As a map layer.
You have that as CAD, right?
No, it's actually a GIS already. If you're going to do the cemetery, I might look into having someone assist with that, a GIS specialist, just to at least get the database up and going, because the database that we had predates me. We looked at it one time. There was a special front door to that.
We paid to have a specific database.
Right, yeah, and you have the database.
Yeah.
So there might be some conversions in there, but yeah, you
And
have the database for it.
I know
But
Matt.
graphically, we would be able to either through our engineers' help or 50 monkeys doing whatever, get all the cemetery plots graphically
Yeah,
presented.
you could even just do a rough, not an exact layout of the cemetery, and then you can still have the centroid of that plot, and then if you click on that point, it can pop up the information of who's buried there, dates, whatever you want to add to that layer. I know our GIS coordinator did a couple of the township cemeteries. He went out with some of the township folks and plotted out cemeteries and some of the smaller ones, like the one up by Hickory Grove. So,
Yeah, we're talking cost savings of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Because their device is $7,100, 7,102. And then the online setup and GPS integration was another 2,500. And then they were going to charge us $1,600 for almost 17 for training and implementation.
and it's really not, once you have the map set up, it is not hardly usable. I mean, you just sit there, click a button, click and drop down. It's like filling out an application online, you know? You just answer the questions and.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Tony or Chris can just have their phone with that map, that's a Field Maps app that you have on your phone that's free. I just, the first time I heard you guys, when I saw that guy's presentation of the prices, is like, there's no need to spend that much.
Well, we appreciate you reaching
Appreciate
out.
you
Yeah.
coming in,
Yeah.
my goodness.
The action that we took was the mayor's going to get more information and compare Silversmith
Mhm.
or whatever it was
And Sam,
to this other from a nuts and bolts perspective of what we need to buy and what it's going to cost, and also a workflow perspective.
Yeah.
Because half GIS is certainly geography, but it is also the information system behind it.
Yep.
And that involves workflow.
Yep.
So,
Also get with Tony when he gets back.
Yeah.
And see which one he prefers.
And I can bring it home with me anytime and get with you. Anybody else that wants to see it, just let me know.
Okay.
We can go out and play. I like playing with it. So.
Perfect. Anything else for Matt while he's here?
Nope. Thank you, man.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Matt.
No problem.
Have a
Appreciate
good day. All right, so moving on, item 7I, I'll take an approval of Starlink Internet, a motion to approve Starlink Internet. We'll get into the nitty gritties of that. I don't think you have anything there. I'll pull it up online.
So moved.
Moved by Doug. Is there a second?
yeah, second.
Second by Ken. Okay. So this is kind of playing off of the IT in a box, especially when you start talking about disaster recovery.
Were you gonna have a vote?
Can't vote.
No, you don't need to.
We're in discussion.
Discussion.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you want to
Moved,
vote.
seconded, and
Yep, just
discussion.
vote for me.
So Starlink right now, it is in the beta testing, but Maxwell is considered a beta testing site. All the hardware you get is about $600 upfront. And so my idea on this is what we would do is we would put Starlink on top of the fire station, and we would hardwire it over here to City Hall. The cool part about this is we have the derecho coming through again. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But the derecho comes through, wipes everything out. No cell service, no internet, no phones. With this, because it's satellite internet, as long as it's got power, it will work. And obviously we have a new generator that is up and running at the fire station. And that is, the plan would be to have the fire station as our command center when something like that would happen. So we would have contact with the county emergency management, state emergency management, and any other federal agency that we need to deal with. The cost, what it was, I'll hit business and see what happens. Okay, so business, if you go business, it goes up to $2,500.
For hardware costs.
For hardware costs.
And 500.
And then $500 a month. I would select residential because we're using it for the town and see if that goes. But the monthly cost of residential is around $150, unlimited data. And they are running right now, my neighbor has it and he's getting $350. The bank has it too. but we're getting about 350 megabytes per second, much more than Windstream can do as well. So put this on here for your guys' consideration. The hope would be to, in the end, eventually go to a voice IP phone system, which would enable us, again, the duration comes through, knocks out our phone line, voice IP goes through the internet, and you would still have internet access if you went that route.
What's the difference between, why is business so much more than residential?
Because it's business.
Business?
business,
So the
yeah.
system is
Same
like
thing.
bigger or,
You go from your telephone system and then our telephone. I don't get anything more than you do. I pay 10 times more than you do.
so there really is
It's
no,
just,
it's
Yeah.
just the idea.
And is the bank getting theirs as a business or as a residence?
I think when I look at the satellite dish, it, to me, looks like a residential satellite dish. There's a difference between the two dishes. Fine China.
I have satellite internet and weather affects it and
Yep.
everything else, so
This, it does not.
it's not, this doesn't.
This does not.
Because it's not the it's not the same internet. It's different frequency and lower level satellites. So
Okay, oh, I was gonna say, cause weather.
yeah, those
interrupts it and
big ones
everything else.
and the stuff, early technology, it's
Yeah.
completely different now.
They are heated, so any snow or ice, it'll melt off. The other side of this is, say the windstorm comes through and it shifts the satellite will automatically shift towards where the satellites are. And there's, I don't know, 10 or 15 satellites now that they have shot up in the sky. So
What if the derecho rips the roof off and we have to replace the equipment? Do they just replace it?
I believe we would have to buy the dish again.
Okay.
The hope would be that if it ripped it off, hopefully it didn't do too much damage.
Just go pick it up.
You can pick it up and put it on the stand that it comes with and stick it on the ground and it'll automatically
Oh,
find
cool.
those satellites.
Okay. Or wherever it was at.
Yeah.
What if the satellite thing
Mhm.
sustained damage is what I should have said.
So upfront cost, if we went to the residential again, is going to be $600, and then we would have a designated line ran to City Hall. Again, with the whole cybersecurity thing and talking about the IT in the box, to make it the most secure we can, I would say that this would be a complete private network between the fire department and Maxwell City Hall. It would, one, get rid of 2 Windstream bills that we currently have with City Hall and Fire Department. And if we went to voice IP, we could completely get rid of Windstream altogether and go with a different provider.
Yeah, they got one big enough just to handle the whole town.
Maybe that's what the business one is.
Is there still a wait list?
There is. I think the wait list, they say it's about a year, but people have been getting them within 2 to 3 months. Now that was before a lot of them were shipped over to Ukraine. So it may be a little bit longer than that, but.
what is the motion on the floor?
It is to approve it, and then we can, again, deny it, and then you can give me direction on what you would like me to do.
Well, we have a motion on the floor to approve, and I would offer an alternate motion to defer to the next meeting so that the council can get a report from the finance committee as to potential savings and costs. And a motion to defer takes precedence over a motion. So if it is seconded, then the previous motion is replaced.
Second by Ken. Perfect. Any other discussion?
I love Robert's rules.
Oh,
There's one yes vote.
Look at a yes.
That's a yes.
Hearing no other comment, the motion on the floor is to defer this for Finance Committee to look over the cost savings in this until next meeting. So I will go with roll call. Doug?
Yes.
Ken?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Perfect. Item 7J, discussion and action on project for Story County Communications Plan. In front of you, you have a letter from the Story County Board of Supervisors. First, I will take Robert's rules, take a motion to approve this plan before we move to discussion.
And the plan would require the city to submit 3 to 5 pictures that represent the community.
Yep.
And also provide dates of any festivals, celebrations, or other town events of interest. So it requires a little bit of effort.
Some action, yes.
Move that we proceed with the county's communication plan.
Excuse me. Moved by Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Lauren. Discussion. So in this, I received this May 16th. As you can see, it's been stamped. I actually gave it to Riley Standing, who is Chris Pitts, our Assistant Public Works Director, his fiance, and she is also a photographer. And so she said that she was interested in it. And I think we should probably talk to Chris as well and see if she's interested
Yes.
in doing that as well. Again, it's a marketing ploy for our town. So
I think we will have the new pavilion at the Freedom Rock up before July 29th. So I think that would certainly be one picture that should be one of the 3 to 5, since it is a Story County Freedom Rock here in Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
And we will have a meeting before this goes in. So I would request, if Chris is interested, to have her take some pictures. And then we as a council go through some pictures and decide which ones we want to send in with this. And
Does that go, just take pictures of
I'd say monuments in town.
monuments
Yeah.
and
No, take pictures of
pavilions?
Market in the Park, people down there in the city park, whether it's Market in the Park or whether it's Old Settlers, you're gonna have people in the park.
Yep. Yep.
Museum.
Museum.
Museum. Yeah.
Don't do the
And
school.
inside picture of the museum. There's lots of interesting shots that could be done.
Just don't.
Taking a picture of the outside.
Of
Yeah.
Casey's.
Yeah. Yes. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Ken?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Okay. Item 7K, approval of post for the opening on Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustment boards.
Move that we post the opening.
Post, motion to approve by Steve,
Second.
Second.
Oh, Megan.
second by Megan. Discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to see on the bottom there that it says to be selected instead of just July council, since it is the 4th is a holiday. People might get misunderstanding, so I'd like to have the 11th put on there.
Did we decide the 5th though last meeting?
I do not recall.
I don't recall that.
thoughts on having it on the 5th?
Well, I'm okay with that, but our,
I won't be back.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but, yeah, because our rules or whatever say that we'll have it on the following Monday, so I just think we stay with that.
Okay, so July 11th.
Yes.
Yes.
Good catch, Ken.
Perfect. We will get that added.
Catch if you can.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I believe I'm on Steve.
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yeah,
Item 7L, discussion and action on nuisance properties.
Is that what all these letters are?
Yep.
Well, should we take them one at a time?
Sure.
Tim Peters is requesting a hearing on this. I think that the ability to request a hearing by code is within a certain number of days of the receipt of the letter. He indicates he filled out this request on 5/3, which may be within the time frame.
I believe it's 30 days, right? Written notice by 30 days.
No, I think it's closer to something like you can request a, you have to request hearing within like 5 or 10 days.
5 or 10 days.
But let's assume that it is within the time frame. That would mean we set a hearing date. And so,
what property is this?
Yeah, what's-
111th Street.
Isn't that his
That's
house?
his house.
That's his house. I have no idea. The only property that I know of is the one at the corner of
Metcalf?
Second Metcalf,
and
Second
Metcalf,
Second Metcalf.
where he was cleaning up, removing debris from a garage, which I think he already has. We can certainly
Yeah, because our meeting would have been May 2nd. And then he signed this thing May 3rd.
So even if the property owner has cleaned up the code violation, they can still request a hearing and we can still have one? Is that what he wants?
Yeah.
I would say we schedule it for next regular meeting.
Yeah.
So July 11th. And just say, at that point, he's a citizen in good standing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Karen
May 15th,
Lee.
Karen Lee.
This was, states that they're unable to make any major improvements at this time. Does not sound like they are requesting a hearing. My question would be is, what are the parameters or time frame that they must make changes to the property, I guess?
I believe that the city council can set any time frame they want. If we want to give them a year to make the improvements. I mean, some of the things that we ask people to do are substantial and costly. Others just get a pick up and load stuff up in the pickup and take it away. So, does anybody have any idea?
This
It
was,
says here, junk and junk vehicles prohibited according to 51.2.
yeah, 5102. I don't believe this was a 0.14 for structure, I'm sorry, 0.14 structural. This was, I believe it was just accumulation. According to the spreadsheet, it's 5102. And I don't have that in front of me. Ken, do you?
The only thing I see is 5102.
This is at 108 Maxwell Street.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Yep, 5102.
Does anybody remember whose area that is?
First letter
Maybe it's
sent out.
mine, I don't know.
Nope, that's mine. That's why I started the conversation, but unfortunately I don't have my, I can see the property in my head. I believe that it was just accumulation in the backyard. No structural issues, I do not believe. May just be some cleanup, but I don't believe I marked anything that would create the property owner to spend a significant amount of money.
And we can also see what the city can do to help, such as if it's junk, we can call 1-800-JUNK and see what that is. If it's broken down cars, we can call Teen Challenge of the Midlands. They take junk vehicles as well. Teen Challenge is free, and so we can get
That's
them.
a tax write-off.
Yeah, and we can get them that information as well. So my recommendation on this one would be what help do you need?
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that they know we're not coming down on them because of this. If they can't do that, let us know what we can do to help.
Yeah, I need to revisit this one. My apologies. I will scoop the loop. I don't believe I was asking the homeowner of anything financially significant. So let me revisit this and I'll touch base.
Perfect.
So when the pictures were turned in, was there a database made?
Deb would have that in our meeting minutes.
Yeah,
Of
we
that.
can go back and.
So we can go back and look at that.
So Mark, this as a report back in July.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's see, 621 5th Street. It looks like the structure was in regard to an old barn. Am I missing one?
What about 107 Main? That's the next one in my packet.
I do not have.
Tony
don't
and
have
Cody
that one.
Flat.
I have.
Yeah, that's 621 5th Street.
625.
Oh, I got, all right.
That's our address.
6.
107
Down at the bottom.
City Hall. Looks like
Okay.
the picture was outdated. Improvements have been made since. Those improvements started several months ago. Looks like significant state of disrepair, although structurally sound. Renovation will take some time, but progress will be steady. They said if a hearing is needed to assure city of our intent to renovate the structure, we are happy to attend. If anybody driven by that sense to see where it is, I do see some tieback on the outside of that right now, and possibly a new window. Can't tell from the picture.
Looks like a different one, no?
It's just southwest of senior housing. I will look and report back.
Okay. Okay. The Tongay property. Looks like they will be addressing these items during the next 2 months. But they asked for more time to help as there will be a surgery here.
And this is also ties into a complaint that we received from
Cindy James.
Cindy. So we want to give them 90 days?
Sure. Is that good with everyone?
Yes.
Fine.
Okay. We'll do, okay.
Which?
The next one is 26 Jennings.
Is that this lengthy write-up?
Yeah.
Today's the 6th?
Yeah.
6th, okay, 90 days from 6/6/2022. Okay. Is this 26 Jennings?
Yes, the long one.
It's 3 pages of length, yes.
Yeah, I will talk to the gentleman and report back at my recollection from the photos that I took is there was just a couple small piles at the back, the south end of his property that appeared to be accumulation of junk, so I don't.
Okay.
I think if just talk to him, it may resolve itself.
The last one we have is the Espinoza property.
What's that address?
This one's mine. This is 521 6th Street.
521.
521 6th.
5102 and 02.09.
Progress has been made. Since then, I've been made aware of a fence that has gone up. Brought to my attention, I pulled the fence permit that was applied for back in 2019, which makes this permit expired in 2020. Since then, no other permit had been applied for. The fence was installed May 28th. So now I'm looking at a fence permit violation, I suppose. Discussion, help with that one?
This property look better.
Yes, I will do another round.
Okay.
But yes. It's approximately 4 foot high Can't tell if it's chain link or if it's some other material.
It's already up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Do we want to do a hearing date on this? She did say that if we would like a hearing date to resolve the matter, we can set one.
you just want
It's only
to talk to
available-
her and report back in
Can
July?
I just talk to her?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the fence is up. It's not like, I mean, they're outside of the permit that's expired. It's up.
Yep.
And they had taken out a permit, they just let it expire.
Right.
I mean, we have some flexibility.
Jameson, I have a question. Was anything reported on the house on the northwest corner of Fifth and Metcalf?
That's what we just talked about, wasn't
That Erickson, which one is that? Is that the one on stilts or the one on Fifth and Metcalf would be Erickson's?
Erickson's.
Erickson's.
Yes.
And
That it's falling
Yes,
down?
yes, that has
Okay,
been reported, yeah.
thank you.
And I believe that is on the list here.
then, what was that? Inch. What's that address?
I think it's actually Fifth Street address.
Yes.
Is it
It's a Fifth Street address, and it would be in the
621 Fifth Street
or 618?
or 6?
I would think 621.
Don't see it.
I know another
Oh, yeah, 621 Fifth.
Another area concern is 515 Fifth Street, the house on stilts. We'll get some more information on that one too. I
Yeah, they-
hope by
Had some beautiful weather to be.
When does its permit expire?
I think we're coming up on it.
Another month, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. But
I think there's a note in here that she's working on it.
Anything else for item 7L? If not, we will move on to item 9D. Alcohol permit for a market in the park, because we put this under business. I will take a motion to approve before going into discussion.
Move to approve?
Moved by Steve to approve. Is there a second?
second,
Second by Doug. Discussion.
In taking a look at this, and I was concerned on two issues. One is that the permit did not have any privileges such as outdoor sales. And the second was that the location of the permit is just Army Post Road and Old Settlers Way, as opposed to a fenced-in area. In talking to Lauren, and in talking to the Alcoholic Beverages Division, I learned that you don't have to have the outdoor sales privilege if there is no premises. If there's no premises, then it's assumed to be outdoor sales, so you don't have to have that on your permit. So I did it wrong for 14 years at Old Settlers. The issue that I still have though is, to just the general description of Army Post Road and Old Settlers Way as the premises. That would mean that it would include the area west of Army Post Road, south of Old Settlers Way and north of Old Settlers Way, because there is no map included with the application, unless one was submitted.
One was submitted.
Okay, and the one that was submitted is in front of you.
Yes.
And again, since it doesn't really identify where anything is, you could still have individuals walking around with their beer, drinking beer on the south side of Old Settlers Way or on the west side of Army Post Road, and not just within the area of the bins. And if that is the intent, then I would not be in favor of the permit. If it's more confined so that we don't have people wandering all over the park with beer in their hands or drinking to excess in picnic tables elsewhere. Usually you put a fence around or a little ribbon around and say no alcohol beyond this point. That's what I like. And that's what I look for in these permits.
I will make a note. You did say that the map doesn't show things. And for the record, I do want it to note that I do have a serving counter. I used your map, so I do have a serving counter. I do have things marked out on the map. I added a couple of things. So there is a very detailed map approved by the ABD. It is my understanding that with my license and insurance approved on both sides, approved by the ABD and the insurance company, I'm not required to have a fence. But it's not up to them. That's up to local authority. So Steve is not wrong. It's the way things have been done for a long time. I would ask if there is going to be a fence, that it not be so, I'm not going to use the word restrictive. I've been to other events and festivals where you do have the ability to walk around and enjoy speaking with others, just not in a gated area. Someday I would like for that to happen. Are we there yet? I'm not sure.
Confining.
Sure, confining. Maybe that's the better word that I'm looking for.
Is this?
Did I remember, I think it was at a Legion meeting, about what kind of fence it has to be?
No specifications.
Right. A rope.
Rope, caution tape.
Or signs that say
No,
no alcohol passes.
No alcohol. I could put signs, it could be 4 stakes. It could be one on each corner that say no alcohol permitted past this sign.
Okay.
I could also use 4 stakes and wrap caution tape
around.
Because there's no rule in my insurance or the alcohol, the ABD division. I can use whatever specifications local authority.
and that
would
that's very
satisfy
true.
that. Yep.
And talking to Alcohol and Beverage Division, they said that they do not like having the open wherever. They prefer having a designated area, but that's up to the local community.
authority.
Is this for market in the park? Just curiosity.
For the event on July 30th, during the concert.
Oh, so it's just for the one?
Just for the one event.
Okay, I had talked to my son-in-law who owns a bar and what rules and regulations. And they said you cannot cross any roadway. That was as far as confinement.
Yes, that's true, except that that road will be closed at that time.
Okay, but like going to a parking lot on the other side of where the bridge is, I can't remember the name of the street.
Second Street will not be closed. Second Street is.
Second Street.
Okay, so they could not take any alcohol from the park over to their car because that would be crossing the roadway.
I have
That
not
would be
been
a
told.
violation.
I've not been told that, but if that's
Yeah,
if that's a rule,
that's-
then I'll look into it.
But I guess I'm more conservative than that. I prefer having a beer garden with a boundary, and that way, young families or old fogies like myself who don't want to be around people drinking alcohol possibly to excess, I wouldn't have to be because they are confined.
And Lauren, I think that would be in your best interest too, to have a confined area. Less liability for it.
And
Well,
alcohol
I've
and beverage did say that if there is an incident and there is no boundary to the premises, then the incident would then go against the insurance for the establishment because the premises is the whole area. And so
That's correct.
would be, like you said, to Mark in the Park's advantage to at least have some sort of a defined area.
Any other discussion?
The
So the-
option is to approve as is, or to approve with conditions. And right now, we have a motion to approve as is without conditions. And so I would like to amend that motion to be that a area bounded by Old Settlers Way on the east and the south, and Army Post Road on the west, and a line at the south end of the wood playground, the old wood playground equipment on the north, be the boundary for this permit.
The other thing to consider is I will have flatbed trailer for the band. And I think if it was approved with the contingency of the fence, we could get the flatbed inside so long
So let me
as
ask this question. They're no longer gonna paint on that day. Can you rent that for that Saturday? So they can paint on Sunday?
Well, the
Yes.
stage wasn't big enough
The
for,
stage is
Oh,
not
stage
big
ain't big
enough.
enough for you, okay.
No,
All right. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
and remember, you don't have to have a fence, you just have to have
Right.
a,
Piece of tape.
a piece of tape, a rope, something where you can
Cornerstone.
say no alcohol beyond this point.
Lauren, I've got a, is there a noise ordinance that says when the band has to quit? So if
I
they're
don't believe the
allowed,
city of Maxwell
There's
has
no noise ordinance for the city of Maxwell.
there isn't,
No.
but a dog can't bark after 10 o'clock at night. I thought that was a noise ordinance.
Not a noise ordinance.
Unaware of any dog ordinance either. Past 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's what I was told at one time.
That there is something in the ordinance to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have a noise ordinance. We have a
Only for dogs.
specific provision that says you can't have barking dogs, and there's another specific provision in the zoning ordinance that says that you can't have noise that extends beyond your property line, but that's unenforceable because anybody who goes out and mows has noise beyond their property, except for me, because I have an electric mower now.
Oh. I'm glad I keep
I'm just saying, I'm a nice neighbor.
But as far as a band or something like that, or people hooping and hollering, there is nothing.
No, because anytime we'd have a band down there, there'd be a noise ordinance.
And that's not new. That's not new. That's
I don't know if
That's
you remember years ago when Pell's was in operation, they would have bands outside in their
No.
little area and
I don't remember
going until 1 o'clock in the morning. So
I think that's when I was up on Rock Creek. Not in town where I can hear everything.
it's more irritating when it happens frequently than if it's a one-time event. And what we're talking about here is a one-time event.
I believe there's a motion on the table for it to be approved with stakes. Is that correct?
That is correct.
With a boundary.
With a
A
boundary.
boundary of stakes of some kind.
Is there a second on the floor? Yes. Second by Ken. Any other discussion on that?
What was the north limit then?
Was
There's
playground equipment.
wooden playground equipment there.
Which is where the porta potties are.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
the north
So
end
the
of,
stake
north
can
end
go
of
on the
that
very
if
north end.
they need the room.
Right here.
There,
Thank you.
Okay.
So it would be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
To here. Any other discussion? Hearing none.
Old Settlers has a different situation. They put up the tall fence because they don't want people bringing in alcohol because that affects alcohol sales. My understanding is that you don't have that situation. There may be people that bring alcohol in and you're going to maybe discourage it, but without offense, that's just something that may
Right.
happen.
We will discourage it, and we hope that they're there to help support the VFW and the Legion and raise money for them, as well as
The park.
and future expenses that we will have. But we will discourage it, but it's not.
So this is a fundraiser then for,
I wouldn't necessarily call it a fundraiser. The proceeds made on the beer sales will be split 50-50 with the VFW and the Legion.
going to veterans programs, and then Mark in the Park uses their proceeds for park improvements and any number of things.
We hope to partner up with the parks board and replace all the trash cans down there. So this will be a good start.
Okay, well, Deb brought up something at one meeting that you shouldn't be voting on anything where you would benefit. And if the-
Personally. She's not going to
She's not
benefit.
benefiting.
The market does not pay me for my time or labor.
Okay, but what about the Legion? Then I just asked.
There's no personal benefit.
No
to
personal
any
benefit.
person in the Legion.
Okay, so it's a personal benefit.
Yep.
Yes.
The
Okay.
benefit has to be financial.
Oh, okay.
I know that for years, Leota was on the city council
Mm-hmm.
and did not vote on anything that had to do with fire department. And the actual requirement is that if you financially benefit, then you must abstain.
Okay.
I think we are ready for a vote. So Steve,
Yes, and this is on the amendment.
Yep.
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yeah.
So
And
passes.
now the vote on the amended motion to approve all we did was vote to amend.
Yes, okay.
So now
So
we have
now,
the main motion.
main motion to approve with the amended
Language.
yeah. Is there a motion?
No, we already had a motion.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Steve,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yeah.
Passes. All right, we are down to item 8, council mayor report. Steve, what do you got?
Tomorrow is primary election day, and so if you want to come down and see my bright and shiny face, it
You
is
wear that shirt?
open. It is open from 7 o'clock in the morning, and the new closing time is 8 o'clock at night. So it's an hour shorter than what it has been in the past.
Okay.
So
Get out and vote.
if you have a primary, remember, this is not an election.
Nope.
This is, you decide on who is going to run in the next election.
Is that it?
And you have to do it by party, either Democrat or Republican. But you can change at the, down there. It gets changed. So nothing, I have nothing else.
Lauren,
Spotlights, parks. I got nothing.
Megan,
Yeah, I've had some complaints about, yards not being mowed. I don't know if we need to maybe put that in the next newsletter that goes out. Reinstate the ordinance that it needs to be cut.
okay. What else?
If there's any yard that, where the grass needs mowing, then the council doesn't have to approve that. It just has to be a complaint turned in, to the city clerk, and she will send out a letter.
Perfect. Anything else, Megan?
Did I miss that we went over the tobacco for Dollar General and Jay's?
No, that's under
Removed it.
consent agenda.
That's under consent agenda.
Coming up next,
Okay, so I have nothing else.
Doug?
I had that too. About several yards have not been mowed at all yet this year, so that's just a matter of getting that going. I don't think it would be a bad idea to look at the employee handbook, kind of update that, revise it, maybe see where we are on it as time allows. And next month is when payroll changes would impact. So are we going to discuss? Are we going to have some comparison data? Just a question in general about what we're going to do.
My plan is to, by the end of the month, have a committee put together to do employee reviews, kind of like I did last year. And then we can discuss it at our next meeting, which would mean July 11th, which I don't know when payroll is.
2 days after that, Deb
2
said
days.
that if a decision would have to be made then.
Yep.
Otherwise, she would have to retroactively do anything, which could be done, but
It's a hassle. Yep.
All right, and then the other thing I had is I went to a Central Iowa Regional Housing Authority meeting. This is what Megan stood in for me last year. I think you went. You ended up being the alternate, Megan, as I recall, and guess where I am? I'm the alternate as well for Story County. A lady from Ames, Vanessa Baker Latimer, is the Ames representative, and then the rest of the county, Latifa, is the representative there. So that is a possibility of some funding and some housing help. We are one of the few towns that do not participate in this, so I think we've got a learning curve there to see what we have available.
Is that something which could be used to assist the house at Fifth and Metcalf if
The way they were
part of
talking,
it's falling off, bad foundation in the back?
what they were talking that I picked up on at that point was more of a rental, helping them with rent payments.
Okay, gotcha.
But I don't know if there are other programs available, but we're looking into, yes, agreed. So that's pretty much it.
That's it. Ken?
The only thing I've noticed around maybe is, I think we need to get a sign, a new sign for the Pioneer Cemetery. You absolutely, it's about ready to fall over. I don't know what it would take if we just got 10-foot post and a deal like the mailbox and a new sign up there or something. But I think it's,
We'll put that on parks.
Yeah, we could do something a little more
open
special than just.
spaces.
The last sign was handcrafted, routed in a plank. It is very nice. If we could find somebody who
Could do the same thing.
does woodworking, I'd certainly be willing to pay for a nice pioneer-looking
Sign.
Was it someone local?
That did it?
Yeah.
That was done in the 80s, and it certainly may have been somebody local, and it may still be local, but on the north end of town.
What about Gordon Smith or Kevin? I forget their last name. Janet Dave. Because Kevin does woodworking.
Also make sure that that one doesn't go anywhere.
Yes.
Right.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
Yep.
we need to save that.
So we can either put it in the museum or
Right.
hang it up in here or something.
Yeah.
Yep. What else?
That's all I got.
That's all I got. The one thing I have, I'll make it quick. So like I told Wes, the developer backed out again on the bottom 12. However, no, this one was Brenner built. The property owner, Scott Oaks, does have a developer that might be interested, but he wants to sit down and see what the city wants to offer. And the offer that I was going to give was going to be $235 with the TIF money up into the amount of the infrastructure. So what that looks like is it could be $235,000 as a grant, and then they get, I think they ran the numbers of about $1.2 million for infrastructure costs. And so they would gain that infrastructure cost back over the time span specified, either 11 or 16 years. Or
if they develop.
Yes, if they develop. And so that was what I was going to ask them. I think at this point, the original $650,000 that we talked of, I think we probably should steer clear away from that. A, it gives us more cash on hand up front, and B, it's a lot better to do TIF. I have found the more research that I've had talking to Amy to do a TIF rebate on that. One of the awesome parts about that is however long your TIF district lasts, you still get the LMI off of that. And when we start talking about the Fifth Street house that's starting to cave in, that money can be used, if they qualify for LMI, can be used to help them out to fix up their house. It's not just that house, there's a lot of other houses in here that can be utilized for. So it's a good deal for us. It's a great deal for the developer. And so I will sit down and have a conversation with the real estate agent, the property owner, and the developer and see what we can come out with. Because if you remember correctly, the 235 stems from ARP funding, which is approximately $135,000 that has to be used on certain things in public infrastructure, roadways, water, sewer, that's one of those things. And then the 100,000 that's sitting in the TIP account that needs to be used as soon as possible. So that's where that money is coming from. It's not coming out of any other budgeted item. So questions, comments, concerns on that? Hearing none, we are going to move on to item 9A. In sticking with Robert's rules, I'll take a motion to approve the tobacco permit for Dollar General store, and we will.
Well, on the consent agenda, you just do the whole thing at once. Unless there is a council person like I did that wishes to pull out any particular item, and because it's consent agenda, there is no discussion on any of the items.
I wasn't sure where you put that. Good move, thank you.
Okay. So for consent agenda,
I move the consent agenda.
moved by Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ken. No discussion? So we will vote, starting with Steve.
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. Ken?
Yeah.
Other than that, is, there's only one thing left.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Lauren to adjourn.
Megan, what do you think? Second? All right.
Second by Megan. Discussion. Hearing none. Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. Ken?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 9:30.
Today and her phone,
Turn that off.
what she can hear.
Turn this on.
You're coming back in.
Yep. That will be mad.
Is that what you did?
You just pulled the cord.